And you're listening to the music of Jefferson Middle School's Ethan Lay, who as a part of a project was tasked to score the Parents as Partners series for San Gabriel Unified, our about monthly webinar series made for parents. And it's a beautiful composition that he put together for us. Welcome to San Gabriel Unified. It's a really special place.
We're going to wait a little bit to allow more families to join us. Thanks for coming.
Hello and welcome, and you're welcome to put in the chat what grade level your student will be entering for the upcoming school year. We would love to see who's in the room. Kinder, wonderful. Welcome, Josie. Kinder and third. Ooh, what a spread. Excellent. Second grade. Excellent.
Gabriel in kindergarten. Yay, Gabriel.
Yay, Gabriel. You're gonna love Kinder.
Kinder in second grade. Olvera family. Kinder.
Kinder, we've got lots of Kinder families here. Yeah. Well, welcome to San Gabriel, everybody. Kinder.
And if you have not used the Zoom chat before, the chat box is located at the bottom of your screen. You'll see a little speech bubble and it says chat. If you press that, it'll bring up the controls for you to type into the chat box. So we might ask you some questions along the way, and you're welcome to go ahead and use the chat box. You also can submit questions to us through the Q&A, and that is the two little speech bubbles next to the chat box. And at the end of our session, yes, the presentation will be recorded and it will be posted on our website. So that's where it will be accessible. But at the end of the session this evening, we'll allow for more questions and we'll take the time to answer them with you. Okay.
Okay. Are we ready?
We're ready.
We are so ready.
Well, welcome everyone. We're excited to have you this evening. And I think you're going to see from all of our panelists here, we're going to be talking about something near and dear to our hearts, and that is the San Gabriel Unified School District. We love it here, and I think you're going to see from each one of our panelists the excitement that they have for this amazing district that we all have the privilege to work in, and the amazing students and teachers and principals and employees in this district. So welcome. I'd like to start by introducing or have our community liaisons introduce themselves so they'll be able to interpret for you. We have, and they can introduce themselves, Lizette, our Spanish translator, Mandy, our Cantonese translator, Winnie, our Mandarin translator, and Hai, our Vietnamese translator. So they can introduce themselves. You can log into your language.
Hola, buenas tardes. El superintendente explicó que tiene muy cerca de su corazón es el Distrito Unificado de San Gabriel y que aquí trabaja mucha gente especial referente a los directores, maestros y todos los empleados aquí. Están muy contentos de estar hoy y a dar esta presentación. Para poder escuchar esta presentación en español, por favor seleccione el signo de globo que está abajo o tal vez arriba y seleccioné el idioma español. Gracias.
大家晚安，你好，我係你哋嘅廣東話翻譯員。我哋學區總監喺度歡迎大家今晚嚟參加。今晚我哋會有好多嘅講員、校長同埋我哋學區裏邊會有好多嘅細節，陣間會同你講。廣東話翻譯咧，對唔住我，因為冇 Cantonese 嘅選項，所以你可以選 Korean。係陣間喺下低嘅地圖形狀裏邊咧係有 Korean 嘅選項，係選廣東話嘅。國語咧將會有另外一個嘅。多謝。
各位家长们晚上好，感谢你有参加今天晚上圣盖博学区的新生家庭的这个注册信息页活动。那我是今天的中文普通话翻译。那如果您需要普通话翻译，您会在这个屏幕的下方会看到一个地球仪的显示，您点击这个地球仪显示会有一个中文 Chinese， 那您点击这个中文 Chinese， 您会听到我的翻译。 那在会议中间的话，您也可以随时再切换到英文频道。感谢各位家长参加今天的会议，谢谢。
Okay, thank you very much. Our hardworking group of community liaisons. Thank you for joining us.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Simmons. Did we hear from Miss Pham, if you don't mind? Our Vietnamese, oh, she may be frozen. That might be our problem. Nope, there she is. There she is.
All right, I think she's already in the interpretation room.
Sounds good. Okay, well, we'll move on to our agenda for this evening. Okay, so we're going to talk about a lot of things tonight. We're going to hit you with a lot of information about our district this evening. These are our topics that we'll be talking about tonight. We'll be offering more opportunities to meet with our school principals and parents in the upcoming weeks for you. We'll begin by telling you more from the mouths of students about the San Gabriel experience. We'll share our portrait of a graduate, the North Star for our district, and the profile of the student we are nurturing in grades TK through 12. We'll give you an overview of our schools and our focus on social emotional wellness. And then we'll zoom in on our transitional kindergarten and kindergarten classes. And finally, we'll share how you can enroll your student for the upcoming school year and end on questions. But before we do that, I'd like to introduce our distinguished panelists this evening. And we'll start with Heather Walpart-Guerin, and she is our Director of Professional Development and 21st Century Learning. Thank you for joining us this evening, Heather.
Always my pleasure, Mr. Simmons.
And you'll get to know Heather. She runs our Parents as Partners series, other webinars. She is an amazing person and a distinguished author and many other things. So she wears a lot of hats in the district. So we're so fortunate to have her. She is amazing. Also, I'd like to introduce Dr. Joan Perez, our Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services. Thank you for joining us this evening, Joan.
Good evening, everyone. We're glad you're here.
And then we have Mr. Larry Furchaw, our Assistant Superintendent of Business Services. He keeps the ball rolling for us in the financial department. Good evening and welcome, Larry.
Thanks, Jim. Great to be here and great to see everybody tonight.
Okay. So as the superintendent of San Gabriel Unified, I share a dream for all of our students, a dream focused on empathy and achievement. My journey as an educator began in the classroom. I was a third grade teacher way back in 1989, and it is my teaching practices that still inform who I am today. As we begin to shape a shared district vision, it is important to me that we use best practices and our professional talent for teaching and learning to develop our new vision for the San Gabriel experience. So to cultivate creativity and critical thinking, it is imperative that we prepare students with future readiness skills that empower them to be productive citizens of the community and pursue their dreams for the future. And I know I share that same dream with our governing board members. And here is our amazing SGUSD governing board. And I know some of them are out there on this webinar this evening. And I'll start with our governing board president, Mrs. Cheryl Shellhart, and our governing board vice president, Dr. Gary Scott, our governing board clerk, Christina Alvarado, governing board member, Rochelle Haas, and governing board member, Ken Chang. And I always say a great school district starts with a great board. We are very fortunate to have a governing board that is really focused on what's best for kids. And I think you'll find that in your experience here in San Gabriel Unified. And next we'll move on to a very special group of people. The success at a school rides on a very important person, and that is the principal of a school. And we have some superstar principals in this district that reflect compassionate leadership. They are each innovative thinkers who care deeply about our students and their staff. And each campus in the San Gabriel Unified School District helps the heart of the San Gabriel Valley to beat with creativity and critical thinking. They each believe in the potential of all students, and they each are vested in their school community. And here they are. We have the Coolidge Elementary principal, Mr. Fang, Stephen Fang, McKinley Elementary, Mr. Tui Wynn, Roosevelt Elementary, Mrs. Cheryl Wilson, Washington Elementary, Mrs. Sandra Alley, Wilson Elementary, Ms. Yvonne Contreras, Jefferson Middle School, Mr. Chris Geyer, Gabrielino High School, Dr. Dave Rinkowitz, and Delmar High School, Mohammed Abdul Qawi, and our newest principal, who's not up here because she's so new, and that is Mrs. Ann Anderson, who is our VISP teacher, and she does our virtual independent study program. But if you really want to know what our San Gabriel Unified experience is all about, you have to hear it from the students themselves. The following video was created by students in our PRISM High School group. And PRISM stands for Public Relations Information, Social Media Student Interns. And this is a group of students in our district that have really taken an interest in this area, and they are responsible for quite a bit of our public relations. And they're trained to be leaders in marketing and publicity, and they chose to use their skills to help capture what the San Gabriel experience is all about. So we'll go ahead and roll that video. right, the great video. Okay, so what is the San Gabriel experience? You've been hearing me say this, and we want to talk to you a little bit about this. Together, our team is working hard to create for your child the San Gabriel experience. It's an experience made up of strong academic practices alongside innovative and award-winning signature programs. We provide a supportive and inclusive learning environment that meets each student where they are at and focuses on the needs of each and every child. Our teachers and staff model a collaborative culture that is then nurtured in our classrooms. San Gabriel is a place where all kids can identify their own assets, where they know they are surrounded by adults who also know and celebrate their strengths. But don't just take it from me. Once again, here are the voices of our students, our most important clients, and how they feel about the San Gabriel experience.
The best part is that I get to see different faces when I come to school and go.
I like doing math because math is my favorite subject.
It's really fun. We learn a lot here. I'll always remember my teachers and my friends.
Well, it's been really fun. I've only been here for 2 years, but I've known a lot about people here, like a lot about the teachers.
My friends, because they're fun and loving and they're very caring.
Yesterday we had a design challenge to make things for our creature. I like that we do arts and crafts. We do teach a monster that helps you read.
I like doing crafts. I like reading. I like doing the robotics.
It's been really fun. And that's not a lot to say about school. A lot of people don't say that. But yeah, it actually is really fun here. The teachers are very kind, caring.
My teachers are really nice. They help me through a lot of stuff.
I like the programs, the activities that our teacher planned for us.
I'm really grateful.
Sometimes my old kindergarten teacher would say, "Hi, how you doing?" And every time I pass by here, she always notices me and she says, "Hi, Noah."
My San Gabriel.
My San Gabriel.
My San Gabriel.
My San Gabriel experience.
My San Gabriel experience.
My San Gabriel experience.
They are awesome.
That little video gets me every time.
Getting teary-eyed.
So throughout the videos, and as we've heard from our superintendent, we've learned that qualities like collaboration and creativity and empathy help the San Gabriel Unified District heart to beat. And that's really not a coincidence. Whoops, sorry. Prior to COVID, and school closures, our educational partners, that is our administrators, our teachers, our students, our parents, representatives from our local business communities, board members, staff members, they all reached consensus on the traits we most want to nurture in our students and in all classrooms, TK through 12. And the traits that they decided on became our portrait of a graduate, our district North Star. And we are trying to nurture in our classrooms creative thinkers, collaborators, global citizens who are empathetic, who are communicators, and who are resilient. These were our goals prior to the bizarre educational era that we find ourselves in now. And these also became our guiding principles as we moved through crisis and into our future. We just didn't commit to empathy because of COVID. We committed long before then. We didn't just commit to developing students who were resilient before it became necessary to. We committed because it was what we chose for our students. And in fact, when we talk about what we provide for our students, there's something for really every child in San Gabriel Unified. And you can kind of hear how passionate we really are all for this district. It's a very unique place. There really is something for every student here. We have award-winning VAPA programs. VAPA stands for Visual and Performing Arts, that have been not only award-winning, but featured in magazines. And it's just, they're beautiful when you see these kids bringing visual and performing arts to how they make an impact on the world. We have championship athletics. We have nationally recognized speech and debate programs at both the elementary, middle, and high school levels. We have dual immersion in both Mandarin and Spanish. We have the music immersion experience as well. The students are starting early on, as early as kindergarten, with violin, and a little later on can switch to mariachi bands as well. They are nurtured in their leadership skills. They are taught how to engage in STEAM activities, including those focused on design-based learning. And we also focus on project-based learning, where the students are really learning with all of these programs how to make an impact on the world outside of San Gabriel Unified. In addition, we also have a tremendous focus on the social emotional wellness and learning of our students. We have a coordinated TK-12 counseling program and individualized supports for the needs of the students. That really was, we sought input from the parents, the students, and the staff for the well-being of our students. We have counselors at every site. We have wellness centers on many of our campuses. We have a K-12 social worker. We've pivoted to virtual support to meet the needs of students as an alternative possibility for students who need it. We have Second Step at the elementary level. We have Wellness Wednesdays at the secondary level. We have school-based mental health services. We even have a therapy dog program in progress. Your student's heart will be at the heart of how we help them achieve. And this really all adds up to preparing our students for their future. And it's a future that we all may not see totally, but we can predict. And San Gabriel Unified really works hard to keep their finger on the pulse of what's to come. We're constantly looking ahead and recalibrating our goals and our instruction to help students prepare for that future, whatever it may be, because we know that the future will take flexibility, communication, collaboration, creativity, and we want our students to really be out front in of what's to come. And to speak a little to that, here's
Imagine
this
the
video.
awesomest thing you can, like an automatic grilled cheese maker, or a time machine, or a time machine with an automatic grilled cheese maker. Now imagine who's going to invent it. Him? Glasses here? Whoever they are? Or maybe her? But how do kids like these become the types of people that do things like this? Maybe we should ask this guy.
Knowledge is heavy. Sometimes it's a limit to have new ideas. That's the problem with the old schooling, because they were teaching answers. I believe questions are probably more important today than the answers.
Erno's Cube is a question waiting to be answered. And when the right person finds the right question, something amazing happens. They start seeing the world as it truly is, Not a place to be memorized, but a place to be figured out, flipped, turned, twisted, and ultimately made better forever. Today, she may be an octopus, but help kids like her fall in love with problem solving, and they will embark on journeys to become scientists, artists, engineers, designers, inventors, or something no one's ever been before, but you can bet we're gonna need. That's why moments like this, go, and this, and this, and especially this, are so important. Because there are companies to found, planets to walk on, time machines to invent, a future to be made amazing. We may not know what it's going to look like, but we know who's going to do it.
At San Gabriel Unified, we're teaching your kids how to question, we're teaching them curiosity, and we're teaching them how to find their answers to the questions that they develop. It's a wonderful place. We hope you'll join us.
For many of you in attendance this evening, your journey begins in San Gabriel Unified with kindergarten. And this journey is really inspired by our Portrait of a Graduate, and it's where we begin our transitional kindergarten and kindergarten programs. Our students begin their Portrait of a Graduate journey by becoming the collaborators, communicators, the creative thinkers, the global citizens who are empathetic and resilient from the start of their journey with the San Gabriel Unified School District. And so tonight, we're going to tell you a little more about what that journey, how that journey begins and what it looks like, starting with our kindergarten program. So San Gabriel has, we're proud to say, a full kindergarten program. The day begins traditionally at 8:30 a.m. And that's on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. On Wednesdays, it begins at 8:30 a.m., but it's an early out day for teacher collaboration and planning. And so the students are dismissed at 1:30 p.m. A full day kindergarten and transitional kindergarten program is 340 minutes a day. And we're really proud that we have created not just a program that inspires kids to develop these competencies and skill sets, but really is developmentally appropriate for their age. And so that they begin to wonder and they begin to explore their curiosities. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Furchaw, who's going to tell you a little bit of some exciting news about our Transitional K program.
Well, thank you, Dr. Perez, and the exciting news. I've kind of listened with excitement as I saw all the neat things our students have been doing, the exciting programs we have, and the exciting news is that we get to share with even more students starting this coming school year. The San Gabriel Experience and the Portrait of a Graduate will start for even younger students starting in the 22-23 school year. So what is transitional kindergarten? It is kindergarten. But it's going to be for 4-year-olds, and it's a bridge between the preschool foundations of learning and the California state standards for kindergarten. And it helps students enter kindergarten with the maturity, confidence, the knowledge, skills to really thrive when they get to kindergarten. So not only are we going to be able to expand that to all 4-year-olds who will be eligible to apply, because of the big investment that the state and our school district are making in this expansion. But because of this, we'll also be able to offer TK at all of our elementary schools next year. Currently, we only have it at 4 of our 5 elementary schools, so we're expanding it not only in the ages that we're serving, but also in the locations that we're providing it. So it gets a little complicated about who gets to go where and when. So hopefully we can kind of hash that out through this slide. So starting in 22-23, all children in our district who turn 4 by September 1st, 2022, will be eligible to apply to join us for TK for the 22-23 school year. Because of the way the state is rolling out the TK program, everybody who's turns 5, so all of our 4-year-olds who turn 5 by February 2nd, 2023, we're guaranteed a space. We will find a place for you, but we know we're going to have more than enough space. So we're going to say that students who turn 5 after February 2nd, 2023, we will enroll those students based on the availability of space, based on the age of the child. So as the older ones will have priority over the younger ones as we work our way back towards the September time period. And then in the order of applications received, if we have to do a tiebreaker, so to speak, in terms of birthdays, we won't get to the hour of when children were born to do that tiebreaker, don't worry. So really that's the exciting news, is that we will have transitional kindergarten at all of our sites, increasing the number of students that we can serve, bringing all 4-year-olds onto our campuses to begin their San Gabriel experience at the age of 4, and really and expanding our world that we can serve there. So next slide really just is a helpful where do I go kind of answer question in terms of transitional kindergarten versus kindergarten. So if your child turns 4 on or before September 1st of 2022, they are eligible to apply for TK for the 22-23 school year. If they will be 5 on or before September 1st, 2022, then they are eligible to apply and be accepted into kindergarten. So those are the 2 dates. So if your child is 3 right now and will turn 4 by September 1st, 2022, keep that in mind. If you have friends, neighbors who don't know yet about this expansion to our 4-year-olds, please pass that along, because we're really excited to welcome all these new kids and new students onto our campuses.
Might I add, Mr. Furchaw, some of you might be wondering about what's the difference between transitional kindergarten and kindergarten. And truly, transitional kindergarten is a school grade that serves as a bridge between preschool and kindergarten. And it's meant to provide students with the time to develop those fundamental skills that they need for school success. And it's in a setting that is developmentally appropriate for that age level. So we want to make sure that we're setting kids up for success. So this is really exciting news, Mr. Furchaw. I'm really excited that we're able to expand upon this. That's great.
Absolutely. And I think we'll talk on the next slide about expanded day childcare.
And before we go, I'll introduce our next distinguished panel member, and that is Gail Calhoun. She's our Director of Federal Programs and Teacher Induction, new Teacher Induction. She wears many hats in the district as well. She works on our extended daycare, and if you are enrolling your child in the Mandarin immersion program, you will certainly get to know Mrs. Gail Calhoun. And welcome, Gail.
Thank you so much, Superintendent Simmons. I'm really pleased to be here tonight because I enjoy all the interesting projects that I have to work on in San Gabriel Unified. And I have a really special place in my heart for our district because I started kindergarten in San Gabriel Unified. Well, actually San Gabriel School District. We weren't unified back then. So I am a proud graduate of Coolidge and Jefferson in our district. And I can tell you that the San Gabriel experience was pivotal for me in starting my path towards my career in education. And one of the things that as a parent, I'm also a parent and have been a working parent. So I understand that when you're starting to send your child to school, one of the big question marks and things that you need to consider if you work outside the home or are juggling different complex schedules is how are you going to ensure that your child has developmentally appropriate, safe, and convenient childcare. And so we want to let you know that San Gabriel Unified School District partners with Options for Learning. Options for Learning provides and coordinates multiple programs that are licensed and have different fee options depending on the program. Some of them are free to families in our school district. Their general phone number is on the screen right now. I'll say the numbers slowly, and that way our liaisons can translate that. I also work with our liaisons, so I'm always remembering that it takes them a little bit longer to say all of this in the language that you might be listening to. So in order to contact Options for Learning, St. Gabriel Unified School District's partner in providing surround care and other after school and before school programs for students that attend our school district, you can call 626-284-9935. And they can direct you to the programs that are offered in our district and provide detailed information about how you can register and what age groups are served. But we are planning to continue to partner with Options for Learning to ensure that students that attend transitional kindergarten are able to stay in our campus classrooms through the full day if that's what the parents desire. So that's not a requirement, but if they'd like to stay to the later in the afternoon, we will make sure that they have developmentally appropriate childcare options coordinated through Options for Learning. Next slide. And is this back to you, Joan?
Yeah, I'll take this one. Thanks, Gail.
Sure.
So you might be wondering, how do I enroll my child in the San Gabriel experience? Well, let us tell you how. So we have an online enrollment process, and new families are able to start the enrollment process right now for the 22-23 school year. And it's through our program called Aries Air. You can go to the San Gabriel website and you'll see a little button that says enroll today or enroll now. You can click either one and you can enroll for the 22-23 school year. And school office managers will begin coordinating with new families starting on February 15th to complete what we call a data confirmation process. Based on what you submit in your online enrollment process, they will be checking your documentation and any of the records necessary to properly register your child. So the website address is right there below on your screen. But if you go to just www.sgusd.k12.ca.us, you will find those buttons, and all the directions are right there, and they'll walk you through step by step how to enroll your child today. Ms. Calhoun, you want to talk about our dual language enrollment details?
I'm so glad to do that. And I'm just going to add one detail to what Dr. Perez was discussing a moment ago. For enrolling and using our website for families that are multilingual, you can go to the bottom of our web page and choose Google Translate, and you can view our registration information in the language that you feel most comfortable reading as well. And now back onto my other hat. Dual language immersion is another program that I help coordinate at in San Gabriel. And as Superintendent Simmons mentioned, I've been actively working a lot at Wilson Elementary School with our newer Mandarin dual language immersion program. We currently have classes in kindergarten, first and second grade. Next year, we'll be enrolling another kindergarten class, and we will expand kindergarten through third grade. It's exciting to see a program take off. I've also been involved in our Spanish dual language immersion program, which is housed at McKinley Elementary School. They now have students that are all the way kindergarten through fifth grade, and they have sent some students on to Jefferson Middle School. And they are now in 6th and 7th grade, also continuing the development of their biliteracy and their journey towards global citizenship through that program. We recorded a parent information night just recently, and it is posted on our website. So if you are interested in dual language immersion and you were not able to join us on January 6th, you can visit our website that we just discussed how to navigate to, and you'll be able to find under the dual language immersion page the recording, going through all the details of how you register your child for dual language. But the thing that everyone's waiting for is when do I get to do that? This is such an exciting program, and I've heard rumors that it fills up quickly. Well, it does fill up quickly. It is super exciting. Kindergarten's the best. And we are going to start accepting applications for that specific program, which does require one additional Google form that parents need to submit. On January 13th at 9 a.m. is when you can first begin to to tell us that you intend to enroll by completing the Intent to Enroll Google form found at the website, but it won't be there until 9 o'clock in the morning on January 13th. The Google form timestamps the moment that it is submitted. And so we do look at the order upon which the Intent to Enroll forms were completed. You use this form for either the Spanish program at McKinley Elementary School or the Mandarin program at Wilson. We also are accepting enrollment for qualified students at the middle school level in Spanish. So at Jefferson Elementary, a student who is beyond kindergarten or first grade would need to be already bilingual and moving towards biliteracy in order to be able to join our cohorts. They move fast and they are really great at speaking the languages that we're teaching them. And so if you feel like you could be interested in that, definitely submit a form, and I'll be reaching out to you after January 13th, after we've received our forms, and contacting parents individually based on the Intent to Enroll form and the time in which it was received.
Thanks, Ms. Calhoun. So what's next? Well, as you can see, our panel is a little bit smaller than we had originally intended. We had hoped that this meeting would be in person, but we were flexible and we pivoted, and we decided that tonight we would give you an overview of our wonderful school district. And then in the coming weeks, we're going to put together what we call a Meet the Principals night. So you'll have the opportunity to go into breakout rooms and talk to your child's future principal and learn a little bit more about their school site. So we'll go ahead and be working closely with our principals to provide you that information shortly. We also will have a dedicated TK parent information night, TK being a new program or expanded program for our district, and we want to make sure that everyone knows and understands how to enroll your child for this expanded new experience. Also, again, as Ms. Calhoun said, the Intent to Enroll for Dual Language begins on January 13th. And we also invite you to visit our website. Mrs. Wolpert-Guerin has done an amazing job at putting together our Parents as Partners series. And there's a lot of wonderful guest speakers that come in and talk about topics that are very relevant to parents and their children. So we invite you to join us for those Parents as Partners nights and be active in our parent community. And with that, I'm going to turn it back to Mr. Simmons to guide us through the Q&A. We have a few questions, Mr. Simmons.
Okay. Well, thank you, panelists. Great job. And so we've got some questions in the Q&A, and why don't we do this? I'll read the question, and then panelists, if it falls into your area, I'll let you go ahead and answer it. So the first question, will current students be automatically enrolled for the next grade?
Yes, they will. However, you still have to go through what we call a data confirmation process. And so each year, parents will have to go into the ARIES student information system and look to see that all their data is current and confirm that process each and every year. I don't know, if Ms. Calhoun, if you want to elaborate a little bit on that.
Just think about it like one of those automated annual updates of your personal information for a website or a service that you subscribe to, in order for us to make sure that we know how to contact you and confirm that you're still with us. We just ask annually for you to update your information, and it's a way that we catch new telephone numbers, new email addresses, new addresses, and to make sure that we have all vaccination records and other items like that up to date in our systems.
Great. Thank you, team. Okay, our next question. Once a child is enrolled in extended care, can the child be picked up at any time, or does it need to be picked up in extended care until certain times?
That's a great question. And there are a couple of different answers, and that's dependent on the age of the child and the program that the child is enrolled in. And so once again, I encourage you to follow up with Options for Learning, our preferred partner for after school and extended day and surround care. And it's not arbitrary. It's rules that they have set up. So that's a little bit outside of our scope, but they'll be happy to walk you through it. Even I get a little confused with all the different names. So I don't want to give out any misinformation right now, but they're great at answering the questions. So reach out to them as well.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, our next question. It sounds like there will be a TK class at Coolidge next school year. Is that correct? And then this person submitted an online registration already, and there was not a Coolidge location option.
Well, we'll have to fix that. Yes, there will be a TK option for Coolidge next year.
Right. And we're building this. It's been kind of recent news for us. So we're building this as we go. So have to put that option in there. And okay, our next question. When do you decide when our kid makes the exception? It looks like the birthday son turns 4, 2/23/2022.
So I'll start this, and I'll probably turn it over to Dr. Perez or Ms. Calhoun. We're obviously going to gather everybody's applications over the next couple of weeks and months of the TK students, future TK students. And once we've got our counts and understand the numbers of students that we expect next year, we can go through the list and see that we have space for, or who we have space for, based on classrooms that are available and teachers that we have. So I imagine that will be sometime before the end of the school year, Dr. Perez, that we would have that ability to communicate to the folks who are after that February 2023 cutoff.
Yes, we definitely want to encourage you to apply for our Universal TK program. Ruth Eslin is our Director of Student Support Services, and she oversees enrollment, and she will be your point of contact for questions that have to do with enrolling your 4-year-old in the program. We are excited to be able to offer it to more than the state required date of February 2nd, 2023. So it's really exciting that we are expanding this so that we can be more inclusive of additional 4-year-olds, but we have to consider, like Mr. Forshaw said, the amount of space we have. So while we will be opening it up to additional 4-year-olds, we'll take all those factors into consideration.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, our next question. Is dual language immersion available for TK, or does it start in K? I'll take that question. So unfortunately, it doesn't start in TK. It starts in kindergarten, both at Wilson with our Mandarin program and McKinley in our Spanish dual immersion.
As of now, maybe someday in the future.
Something we've started conversations about. Yes, thank you. SGUSD said on the website that everything is submitted electronically, but I don't see any place to attach documents.
So I would encourage you, if you're struggling to attach documents, to call our district office and ask for Debbie Grimaldi. She will be able to walk you through that process of registering online.
Okay. Looks like our next one is from Ryan Sayasambat. He is a counselor at Jefferson Middle School. No question, you guys look great and did wonderfully. And so, Ryan, I'm going to nominate you for Employee of the Year. You are an amazing individual and wonderful counselor, and everyone has amazing things to say about you. And that will be, if you stick around in San Gabriel Unified long enough, you'll have a chance to work with Mr. Sayasambat, and he is an amazing person. Is San Gabriel High part of SGUSD? And no, it is not. It's actually part of our neighboring district, Alhambra Unified. And so there's a long story there. We won't go into it, but our high school is Gabrielino High School, and we think it's much better. So I'll just leave it with that. I have a current DLI Mandarin second grader. Will his younger brother, incoming kindergarten, have priority over admittance? So, Ms. Calhoun.
So the factors that we have for admission to the kindergarten class have to do with the order in which the registration is received. And then we also consider sibling status in the DLI program, not necessarily at the site, but in the DLI program, and then the language. And so all of those three things create an interesting and complex balance, with the main educational factor being that we really want to have about 50% Mandarin speakers in the classroom and 50% of children who are learning Mandarin as an additional language. So yes, taken into consideration. And I don't actually have a formula because every year it works out a little bit differently based on whose application is received, what language they speak, the siblings. And thus far, we've been able to accommodate all of the siblings.
Excellent. Thank you, Gail. Next question. Do we need to enroll our kids in music immersion? Okay, so you know music immersion is one of our signature programs at Roosevelt Elementary. So if you'd like to be part of the music immersion program, you need to make sure your child is enrolled at Roosevelt Elementary. And the neat thing about that program is every single student in Roosevelt Elementary gets to participate in music immersion. So you will already be enrolled once you enroll at Roosevelt. Okay, if I want my child to attend an elementary school that's not his home school and not a dual immersion program, is that possible? Interested in learning more about Roosevelt's music program, but homeschool is Washington.
Same type of question. You can apply for what we call an intra-district transfer. So if your homeschool is Washington, you would enroll your child in and request an intra-district transfer from Washington to Roosevelt, and that is possible.
Okay, the next question, naps for TK or kinder?
Nope, they're big boys and girls in TK and kindergarten, and they learn and play and have fun all day long. They do have activities in which they read stories and just downtime to relax and rest. They recognize what's developmentally appropriate, but there are no naps. Although I'd like to take a napping.
Right?
You beat me to the joke.
I know.
I was like, naps for adults. How about that?
Nap time was my favorite part of kindergarten.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, another question about, we addressed the uploading documents question. Can siblings enroll in the district of a current approved out-of-district transfer?
I'm not really sure what they're asking.
I think they're saying if they are approved by another district to be able to transfer out, can they enroll in our district? And yes, you may. Absolutely. And it would be Ruth Eslin that you would talk to, our Director of Student Support Services. Will the Mandarin Dual Immersion Program go up to 5th grade as it's currently listed from K through 3? Absolutely it will. We are committed to a K-12 program here, and we're already beginning our work, not only K through 5, but we're beginning to make our plans for middle school and high school. So great question. Will there be an option for online class next school year? I'll turn that one over to Dr. Perez.
Yes, we will continue to offer a virtual independent study program, but hopefully post-pandemic, it will change a little bit. We are looking to really grow a program that is very robust and very aligned to our portrait of a graduate. And as we have had to pivot over the last couple of years to get this in place, we are constantly reflecting and refining and looking for ways in which we can make it more authentic and more aligned to the type of program that we're offering in person with project-based learning and design-based learning experiences for our students. So Mrs. Wolpert-Guerin and myself and many of our principals and teachers are working right now as we speak to really refine and reflect on what worked and what do we need to do to make it even more enriching.
Okay, thank you. If there's room for 4-year-olds in a different district, if home district is full, can we go to a different district school? I think what they're asking here is if their home school is full for 4-year-olds, can they go to a different school in the district? And absolutely, you can.
Mm-hmm. Along the same lines, Jim, in the chat, one of the parents said, my son will turn 4 in June. Are they too late? And the answer is it depends, right? They might be in their home school. It might be full, but Mr. Furchaw, I would think that it would be okay for them to move to a different school if there's space.
Yeah, I think as we get all of the student application, student enrollment documents in, we'll look and see not only is there space for a student at their home attendance school, but is there space somewhere else nearby? We may have schools that are, out of space. We may have schools that have a space available. So we'll definitely be looking at that and offering enrollment to students based on where space is available. I think the question on if your child won't turn 4 until June of 23, though, that would be a next year TKer, a 23-24 TK student.
Well, would it? Because February 2nd, 2023.
But if they're not going to be 4 until June 23.
Yeah, that's right. You're right.
That would be a 3-year-old for most of the year. So they will be a TKer for the 23-24 school year.
Yeah, if they were going to turn 5 in June, then they could enroll. Thank you for that clarification.
Problem.
And that's why we have our business official, our math guy, helping webinar with the TK thing. Okay, thank you guys. Will this be available throughout the whole year of 22-23, or will it be changing after the winter break? And we kind of already addressed that really with the last one. This is a great question. Do you plan on expanding the music immersion program to all elementary schools? It is a wonderful signature program. We do have music at all of our schools. We are a musical district. So all of our schools have music programs. This is something that we're having conversations about, and hopefully maybe one of these days we'll be able to have our music immersion at all of our sites. So it is a conversation we have had and are still looking at. Boy, these are great questions. When is the language assessment for DLI program?
That's a good question. And right now it's planned on our calendar to begin starting the second week of February. But I should just say that everything has been bumped a little bit because of the surge that we're experiencing and the impact it's having on our staff. And as we prioritize students and supporting our teachers, we have had to move a few things back and adjust. And so the ladies that you see on the screen will help me with the language screening, and I do coordinate that on an individual basis. And right now I'm a little bit behind because I've been working with your students and your neighbors at the schools. So we're going to do our best to stick to that time frame, and we will post more information if there are modifications with that timing on the DLI page of the SGUSD website.
Great, thank you. And where can I find curriculum for second grade Mandarin DLI program? And what are they supposed to know? Colors, directions, conversation, writing? I would say all of the above. And maybe they could connect with you, Ms. Calhoun, if they need some resources.
Yes, finding Mandarin DLI resources is a challenge for all of us. I'll be glad to share any specific questions that you may have about that. And then I'll also just say that the language screening that we do is informal, and it will be conducted virtually over a Zoom platform. So your children won't actually be coming in to speak with us in person due to the concerns about health and safety. But we will be having an informal and age-appropriate conversation with your child just to get a general assessment of their ability in either Mandarin or in Spanish. And then any child whose first language is not English will also, in addition, as is required by the law in California, take the LPAC assessment. And so that's our final confirmation, and that is a more formal assessment of language development in English.
Great, thank you. Okay, so this next question is about enrollment. If my child will be enrolling in kinder lives closest to Washington, but I'm interested in the Mandarin immersion program, do I enroll my child at Washington first and then request a transfer to Wilson? Or can I enroll to Wilson from the start?
You would enroll at Washington, please, and then Director Ruth Eslin will handle your intra-district transfer at the time that a child is accepted to either the Mandarin program or the Spanish program. And so we do that moving around within our own district boundaries on the back end so that the parents don't have to do a lot of extra paperwork for that. And I communicate very actively during that February language assessment time with Director Eslin's office so that we can keep track of all the students and make sure that everyone has a space in the program that we offered them.
Great, thank you. For the dual immersion program, how many classes are there per grade? And I can take that one. There's one class per grade at both Wilson and McKinley, the Spanish dual language program. And our last question, do you have to apply for out-of-district transfer for each child? Yes, you do. Okay.
Yeah. You would need to go to your home district and apply for that inter-district transfer. If there's a program in our district that you really want to get your child into, whether it be music immersion, dual immersion, you can mention that in your inter-district transfer application.
Good point. And I also found out other districts will release you for our STEM program here that we have at McKinley Elementary. Mm-hmm. An amazing STEM program there. Those are some great questions. Very good. Well, thank you. And hopefully you've had a chance to get to know all of us and can put a name with our faces. And if you have any questions, you can email us, call us. We are available to help guide you through this process. And hopefully you've seen tonight the excitement and energy our team has for this district. We just love this district. It's kind of like a family, we call ourselves. And I think the one thing that stands out the most is when you go out to the sites and see how much our teachers care about the students. It's special, and it's a special place to be. Our folks care about kids, and we've got some exciting things happening. I hope you join our district, and we would love to have you and have your kids and have the honor of working with your children. With that, thank you to my panel this evening. You did an amazing job. Thank you for being with us this evening. Let us know if you have any questions. Be safe and have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.